maximum number of polygons, the maximum number of triangles. But when you zoom out, those assets automatically
learn and adapt it to what I need to be able to do to make what I want. So this won't be an eventual map, but I'll tell you what, the concept of virtual textures and height layers and stuff like that, that is kind of sticking. And I know where to go if I need like a refresher course, but I can adapt it to whatever materials I need. Also, having the fab, what was Quixel Bridge and now is fab, amazing. So
scale back
that's
to a
kind of
lower
how it's
level of
helping me so
detail where
far.
not as many triangles need to be processed by the game. And the last level of detail is called the
Hopefully,
billboard material,
someone
which is
someday
really a
does get
2D
help by
material that really should only be
realizes, hey,
shown
maybe I
very
should be
far
sick
away
of
from
these
that asset.
tutorials.
And we'll go through all of these settings. You know what, guys? I'm really excited for this episode. It's so rare that I get to deliberately mess stuff up, and that's exactly what we're going to do to start. And I suppose my computer is really going to hate me by the middle of this episode, but that's okay. It's an inanimate object. It doesn't have feelings, so we're going to plow on through. All right, let's get to it. So in our last episode, we went over how to paint foliage in our Earth quadrant here, both the rocks and the plant life that you see there. And the other thing we started to cover was FPS, which I can activate in the top left corner of my screen here. And we can see here we have a pretty good...
Something I just realized, I think I know why this is blurring at certain... It's because if you get right up close to it, it looks right. But he had me do something earlier in a video. Because like, if I get down here, it's not going to blur when it's right on top of the texture because it's going to look right. Like if you look at the texture right under you and like, oops, let's see, how would I move? Right? Like you kind of, does that do it? Okay. So I'm trying to get to a point where I can just look straight down at it. That's a weird look. Okay. So that's like what it looks like really close. And then like if I go across like this, I don't notice it, right? It's because of what we're doing with the height map. It's something about the height I am away from the ground, and he did that on purpose so it didn't look like it was repeating, or like there's some kind of like when you get up higher away from it, it was really obvious tiling, and so he put in these virtual textures. I'm not gonna fix it. I don't know why it's not doing it on his, but I'm pretty sure
good FPS. Most games aim for maybe 60 FPS if they're really fast action, maybe 45 at a minimum. And so right now we're looking pretty good. But we're going to drop this considerably over the next few minutes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint the outer edges of our Earth quadrant here. And if you've been following along last episode, we started a spreadsheet where basically we're setting all the assets that we're using every one of these episodes in that spreadsheet. And you could see the latest iteration of the spreadsheet down below. You could download those assets and just bring them into your world from Quixel Bridge. And what we're using to paint the outer edge of our Earth quadrant here is this red fountain grass asset. So I just sorted that under my 3D plants, under my Earth quadrant folder, under water edge, red fountain grass. And plants, they already come with foliage assets. So if I go into the foliage folder, I'll see them here. And basically my purpose with this red fountain grass is to line the entire river with it, so it's not really possible for the player to see into the quadrant that far. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use these three, kind of the denser assets.
Okay, so now we're going to line this entire thing. Honestly, some of these just look like they're hanging a lot, but that's fine. We can deal with it. So we'll go back to Fab. One thing that sucks is like they have this, they have these codes, right? for the objects that we're getting. And if you go into Quixel Bridge, you can put it right here, and it's just a code, and it's like, oh, we know what code that is. You want to see this. But if you put it into Fab, it's like, does not compute. Okay, so we want this one. So get it on Fab. Oh, wait. Okay, so what was it called? That's why I looked it up. Whoops. Reopen, close tab on this. Red fountain grass. That's what I'm looking for. Red fountain grass. Alright, so there we go. Got that. And I think we want high quality. I think that's part of my problem. I might be going with nanite when I can go with high. You don't have to have nanite quality on some of this stuff. Okay. Actually, this is probably when he would get nanite because it's a static. But it's grass, so I don't know. Foliage, I think you should just go with high. Okay. So we got it now. And he's just grabbing it. So we're going to go into foliage mode. Grab these three. Drag them here. Let's go back and see.
And so the first thing I want you to do is navigate over to our foliage mode. And for everything that's a 0, so everything that you downloaded already this episode, if it has foliage assets, it's going to come into our foliage mode automatically. But what you can do is you can select the top one, just like our last episode, and come down to the last one that's a 0 and just remove all of those assets. And do the same thing for our next batch. So everything from here down to the bottom, and you could right click and just say remove. And that way we're just starting with the assets that we've already painted. And then you can come over to your content drawer and select the first one, hold shift, and drag those 3 in for the red fountain grass. All right, so now we can see them below. In last episode, we went over how to paint these. So you just select all 3, and we have our brush size and our paint density. And for these, I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. I'm going to make them, let's say, 2 to 3. And the other thing we want to
So we want to make these big. The goal here is that I shouldn't be able to see a lot of the quadrant.
Is because these are going to be painted at an angle, at a pretty steep angle, we actually need to go into those assets and adjust the angle at which they can be painted. So if we navigate back to the foliage assets and just go into each one, so that's this ground slope angle here, because otherwise if we paint on the side, it's not actually going to paint because the angle is too steep. So let's move that up to something like a max of 75 degrees, and we have to do that for all 3 assets. All right, now let's up our paint density. The other thing we want to do is because these are going to be painted at an angle, at a pretty steep angle, we actually need to go into those assets and adjust the angle at which they can be painted. So if we navigate back to the foliage assets and just go into each one, so that's this ground slope angle here, because otherwise if we paint on the side, it's not actually going to paint because the angle is too steep. So let's move that up to something like a max of 75 degrees, and we have to do that for all 3 assets.
Let's do a minimum as well.
All right, now let's up our paint density to full, so we just paint them densely. Not actually going to paint because the angle is too steep. So let's move that up to something like a max of 75 degrees, and we have to do that for all 3 assets. All right, now let's up our paint density to full, so we just paint them.
I think I'm in the wrong thing. I am. Oh no. Okay, let's go back into this one and do ground slope angle 0 to 45. We were in the Nordic stuff. My bad. Okay. So we go plants, red fountain grass, high, foliage types, first 3. Oh wait. go into each one individually. But yeah, we already know what it is. We need to do 25 to 40 or to 75. So we want to make sure that it doesn't, because we don't want it on the flatland stuff here. We want it like on an angle, I think. We'll see. Maybe it is supposed to go onto it. We'll check. Maybe I'm not thinking through what he's thinking through. I guess yeah, I'll keep them open since I might change this. So, but for now, we're going to try 25, 75. Save that one. Okay. Save. Go back to this. And let's see what
Densely across the edge, and as we do this, let's watch our FPS there. So now our FPS went from about 80 down to, let's say, 65, maybe 70. Yeah, something like that. So we're well on our way, but let's keep this going. So now we're going to paint our water quadrant. So for our water quadrant, what I'm envisioning... So now our FPS because the angle is too steep. So let's move that up to something like a max of 75 degrees. And we have to do that for all three assets. All right, now let's up our paint density to full, so we just paint them densely across the edge. And as we do this, let's watch our FPS.
Okay, so paint density 1, brush size 100. I don't know what he's talking about with wanting this to like hide the view of the other quadrant. That can't be. Like, this stuff is not going to be doing that. I know I'm probably being a little inaccurate, but I'm kind of bored already of doing. I don't like this part. Oh man, that's going to be annoying. Okay, I have to do it slow. I need one of those time-lapse things, but for real life. Okay. Here we go. Put it there. Put it here. It really helps to, you know, the more you do this, the better you get with camera movement too, and that does help. Like, it's sort of like playing a video game in that way, you know, like certain skills just get better, like your navigation with the camera and stuff as you're trying to work, as that improves, like it makes you a much better, just time-wise efficiency. I'm not that good. I mean, eventually I hope to be really good at the editor. Another thing with that is that you'll start to learn all the shortcuts, and then you'll really be good. Like, I don't know a lot of shortcuts for this, so I mean, I know some. I actually find that I know more sometimes of shortcuts than people that are really good, which just makes me efficient, I guess. How is this supposed to go? Oh, it's supposed to go this way. Okay, yeah, we come out this way and then down this way. I'm like Bob Ross right now, man. We're just gonna put about 5 million little bushes right over there, okay? And then we're gonna put rocks everywhere. We're gonna have multiple quadrants, everybody. I know, it's weird. Anyways. Let's drag it this way. And I think that's everything we needed for that. And let's see how the frames per second is when we try and play now. Because I feel like, yeah. Selection mode. Play from here. You know, actually, it does kind of obstruct the view of the places. Is it off the ground, though? I think it's actually literally off the ground. So, I don't know what the heck happened there. Also, why is there a bunch over here? Oh, that's because it's the other side of this. And that one, those ones look fine. It's just those ones over here, I guess, where the dark area is. Maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe it's because they're at an angle. I guess they look normal if you don't, like, really inspect that stuff very much. For whatever that's worth. You know, the whole game is looking a little better. It's, like, less glitchy as I get used to it. I guess if I don't focus on it, right? It seems better. Okay. So,
That's there.
let's probably check if anyone answered my question while we're here, right?
So now our FPS went from about 80 down to, let's say, 65, maybe 70.
Okay, so we want to look up... Oh yeah, Unreal. My notifications. Hey, someone did something. Okay, well now we got some stuff to work on here. The sidetracking. But at the same time...
Yeah, something like that.
his
So we're
video.
well on our way, but let's
His
keep
stuff
this
is
going.
gone.
So now we're going to
Like
paint
that.
our water quadrant. So for our water quadrant, what I'm envisioning is basically a dense jungle. So I'm thinking of something like Jurassic Park or The Lost World, the second movie, where I remember a scene where they're all trying to escape through this plain with like really high grass and they can't really see much in front of them. And you got the velociraptors that are slowly approaching them. I'm envisioning that kind of environment for this quadrant of our garden because it'll be particularly fun for playtesting combat and things like that. So to start, I want you to come up to the very first asset on the left-hand side here, the Rika Palm. Select that and come down.
Oh boy. Now we have to go and download all the assets for this new quadrant. The things we go through. Okay, I'm gonna do it, man. I'm just gonna power through this. This is no fun, though, I gotta tell you. I wish that there was a quicker way to do this, or a better way to do this. Because I have to open Quixel, stay here. I have to come over and copy the code of the thing I want. Come here, put in the code. Arrowhead plant. Okay, so I do that. Now I go over to Fab. And then what did I say that was? Arrowhead plant. My ADD kills me sometimes. And there's that one. Okay. Add to project. I can't overstate how cool it is that I have the ability to do this, or how annoying it is to have to do this. Okay, maybe it didn't like that. Window, pixel. Yeah, my son came home today and was like, "Dad, I got something in my backpack." I said, "What is it?" He says, "I think you're gonna like it." I said, "Well, do you like it?" He's like, "I don't care, but I think you're gonna like it." I'm like, "Well, what is it?" "Just look." I pulled it out. So like, "Hey, your son is like way too smart for the class, and we want to get him tested so we can put him in a special class for, you know, gifted kids or whatever." And so of course he's proud of himself, but he doesn't want to tell me. Like, he wants me to find out. It's really adorable. All right, let's see here. Blue Lupin. Here we go. Add to my project. Perfect. Once you get a rhythm for it, it's fine. It's fine. Spotted dumb cane. That's fun. It's like, whoa, who are you talking to? Well, I think it's that top one. It's got to be that top one. They have different pictures sometimes as well, so that's fun. Okay. Yeah, I've been like watching way too many politics videos the past couple of days, I guess because of the election. I've just really been wondering what's gonna happen, and I gotta tell you, I'm loving it right now. It's a good time. Let's see, mega scans, plants. So we want this one, we want this one, we want this one. So we need okay, so let's do Control X. Put this one here, I think. Huh, well, let me. Okay, well, I'm gonna do. Which quadrant are we doing here?
All the way to the last one, that's a 0 here.
Water
Hold.
quadrant. Oh no, we got into that same issue I had the other time that really, this isn't like the worst problem, but it's just annoying. I'm gonna have to quit the game and come back in. Okay. So, but before I do that, let's do 3D, or plants, this one, this one, this one, Control X, or let's see. I guess, I can just do it like this. This is the easiest way to do it. Move here. Okay. Oh, no, it did it. Okay, so let's go back to Mega Scans, plants. Well, it only got those 3? Is that all I got? I feel like I got one more. Nope, I only get those 3. This is so boring to watch. I hate that I'm doing this right now. Okay. Alright, I think we could probably call it a night. I think I've been doing this. Can I see how long I've been going? 27 minutes. I gotta do another 3 minutes, huh? I gotta do it. Okay. So we'll get a couple more of these suckers here. So we got this one, the fourth one. Also, wait, did they go in here? Yeah, they did. I must have copied them there instead of Alright, let's just go and save. Maybe if I save selected and I come back in, it'll show them all in the right spot. Okay, this really is going to do it. I think hopefully I can do some of this off stream. I'm just going to try and download all the assets, that's all. And I'll be back tomorrow, 5:30 on a Friday, you know, trying to keep it consistent. I'm getting better at it. So, expect me back. I might get less entertaining as time goes on, but maybe that's better. Maybe I just do whatever I'm going to do. Because if you're streaming, it's real hard to just stay, like, trying to do a good, you know. There's going to be moments that are good, and I'll put those into videos later. If anyone ever watches this, hey, that's on you. Hopefully it helps you sleep.